So PPT is visible, no? Phase control rectifier. Eh?
Yes, sir.
We'll study with simple circuit, half wave circuit with single switch. Phase control rectifier means is convert AC to DC power, right? AC power to DC power. Okay. So earlier, very old days, we in our machine lab also there is a MG motor generator set there that convert mechanical power to DC power. And there are mercury arc rectifier. There are very big things. But now, with the invention of thyristors and semiconductor switches, this AC to DC conversion becomes very efficient and powerful. In the first class, we have seen that. I have given you the advantages of converters, semiconductor-based converters. They are very highly efficient because the conduction losses are very less maintenance because there is no wear and tear, there is no moving parts, the static devices, and their performance, dynamic performance is very fast. Closed loop control can be implemented. There are many advantages. So converter has to be used for driving a motor, properly driving a motor. And the applications are wide across the board: steel rolling mills, printing press, textile mills, traction system, electromechanical, electrochemical and electrometallurgical processes, magnet power supply, portable hand suits, and many advantages. In our discussion in control rectifier, we will assume that switches are ideal. The SCR, silicon control rectifiers and diodes used are ideal switches. They have no resistance. So there is no voltage drop across them. No reverse current exists under reverse voltage condition. And holding current is assumed to be 0. Because we cannot see the holding current unless and until you use a very high frequency oscilloscope. So it is not possible to show while drawing in a classroom the holding current. So you will assume that the holding current is 0. That means when the current reaches 0, the thyristor will switch off. Okay. Phase control. Why is phase control? Phase control. I'll explain it while I will discuss a rectifier. Then it will be clear. Okay. This is a half wave control rectifier. You might have studied half wave uncontrolled rectifier diodes, right? But here it is a control rectifier. We can control the turn on when it is forward bias. Okay. So at some point in the positive half cycle of the supply voltage, during the positive half cycle, the thyristor is forward bias, and if we apply gate pulse, gate to cathode, this cathode point, a positive gate pulse is applied, then it start conducting. Okay. So we'll assume that this thyristor is nothing but a switch. When it is conducting means it is closed. When it is not conducting means it is open circuit. Okay. If it is open circuit, current in the circuit is 0, and voltage across the thyristor, is the source voltage. Okay. If you apply CRO here, voltmeter, this voltage will show in the reading. Okay. And when this is closed, when the switch is closed, voltage across the switch assumed to be 0. Therefore, the voltage across the load is V0 is equal to Vs. Okay. We draw the circuit. Supply voltage Vs Vm sin omega t. This is the load voltage. So when it is closed, voltage across the load is source voltage. When it is off, voltage across the load is 0. This is the resistive load. The voltage waveform of the voltage, the waveform of voltage and current will be same in a resistive load. They are in the same phase. The current will follow the voltage. This is the waveform. This is the supply voltage. Okay. So during positive half cycle, 0 to pi, the thyristor is forward bias. So at some angle alpha, this is alpha, we apply the gate pulse. So immediately what happened? This portion will cut and this supply voltage will appear across the load. So when voltage is 0, 0 and current also is 0. The current magnitude is V naught by R. It's in the same phase. Seems to be some magnitude, but magnitude will be less than V naught. Okay. Now, after pi, the thyristor is reverse bias, current is 0, so it is turned off, and load voltage is 0 because, as I told you, when it is off, means voltage across this is 0, current also is 0. Again, in the next half cycle, thyristor is forward bias, we apply again a gate pulse here. And when the thyristor is off, means it is open circuit. And when it is conducting, here it is conducting. So during conduction, voltage across the thyristor is 0. Okay. And when it is not conducting, it is the source voltage. This voltage will appear across the thyristor 0. And this portion will appear. Right. We draw this one, a resistive load. Any question? We'll assume that the holding current is 0. There is no reverse recovery current. And the switches are ideal, so voltage drop is 0 when they are conducting. When they are conducting, voltage is 0. Okay. And current shape is same as the voltage wave shape. Because this is a resistive load, the current and voltage are in the same phase. This is alpha. You can trigger here, here, here. If alpha is 0, then it is a whole full cap will come. Like a diode rectifier. Diode rectifier, we don't have any control. Here we are controlling the voltage. Now this is a simple series circuit. So source current is equal to load current. In the circuit you can see source current is equal to load current. Okay. So by controlling the alpha, we are controlling the phase difference of the source voltage and the source current. By controlling alpha, we are controlling the phase angle of the source voltage and source current. That's what is called a phase control rectifier. Phase control rectifier. So form is okay. This is VT, voltage across the thyristor. When it is not conducting, So the SCR conduct when it is forward bias. An SCR conduct when it is forward bias and getting signal is applied at some delay angle alpha. Let a positive gate signal is applied to the load. Okay, that is what I have told you. So conduction angle is pi minus alpha. Pi minus alpha. Okay. Okay. Average output voltage 1 by 2 pi alpha to pi Vm sin omega t d omega t. It's equal to Vm by 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha. Maximum voltage will be at alpha is equal to 0, right? Vm by pi. This is 1 plus 1, 2, Vm by pi. Average load current is V naught by R. Okay. Average voltage by the resistance. Is it okay? RMS load voltage, you note down. There's no need to explain this, just note down. Operation of the circuit is important, then the waveform. Operation of the circuit, then the waveform. From the waveform, we already in the Fourier series we have done is how to calculate the RMS voltage, average voltage. So RMS voltage, load RMS voltage will be Vm by 2 root over pi whole square root pi minus alpha plus half sin to alpha. And so RMS current is Vrms by R. Power delivered to the load is RMS load voltage into RMS load current. Okay. Vrms load current, IRMS load current is equal to this. Vrms square by R or IRMS square into R. Input volt ampere is RMS source voltage into RMS line current. Okay. Here RMS line current is nothing but the RMS load current. Okay. So if you put input power factor, this is a definition of not the load side. The input power factor is defined as power delivered to the load or power consumed by the load divided by input volt ampere. Okay. Power delivered to the load is RMS load voltage into RMS load current divided by input volt ampere is input source RMS into the RMS line current. This get cancelled. So VOR by VS. VOR we have derived this amount. And VS is VS. Pm by root 2, big by root 2. We'll get this. This is the input power factor of a half wave rectifier with resistive load. Is it fine? You just remember this input power factor. Is defined as power delivered to the load divided by input volt ampere. So if it is fine, then we'll go to other circuit, RL load. What will be the difference between an RL load and a resistive load? Here, energy is stored in the inductor. This is a complex load. R plus JX. Energy get dissipated in the resistance, but L and C they store energy, right? So what happens in the first half cycle when it is forward bias? We apply gate pulse and current starts flowing in this circuit, and energy gets stored in the inductor, half I square L. Okay. Now, when we get after pi, what happens? The voltage is reverse bias. The voltage start reversing. That means after pi, the source voltage is negative. But I repeatedly told in the introduction classes, a reverse voltage is not sufficient to turn off a thyristor. The gate current, the anode current must fall below the holding current. That means 0 here, right? Then only it can be turned on, because we have no control about the turn off process, because gate loses control. So only method is by reducing the forward current below the level called holding current. Here it is 0. So when it is 0, it is off. Okay. Now what happens in the first half cycle? 0 to pi, current is flowing, store energy is there. Now when voltage reverses, the current cannot reverse instantaneously. That you know, because of the inductive nature, the flux linkages cannot change direction instantaneously in an inductor. In an inductor, the stored energy has to be released. The stored energy has to be released, and the voltage induced in the opposite direction in the inductor will drive the current and fall slowly to 0. How much time it will take to fall to 0 depends upon the time constant of the circuit, L by R. If L is very large, then it will take a longer time to fall to 0. In other way, we can see that larger the value of L, more energy is stored here and more time it takes to dissipate. And the dissipation energy is delivered to the wasted in the resistance of the circuit. Okay. Here at alpha we trigger the thyristor. Okay, it is short circuited. It conduct at pi the voltage start reversing, but current is not 0 here. At pi it is not shown here properly. Okay, at pi current is not 0. Sorry, this current is not 0. Right. So the thyristor is still conducting. Thyristor is still conducting. Okay. So it falls here to 0. During that period, the negative voltage will appear. This negative voltage will appear across the load. Okay. Now again, the thyristor is in the off state. At 2 pi plus alpha again, gate pulse is applied. Current start increasing, reach a peak value and then decrease. when the voltage reverses. Okay. This is the same formula. When the thyristor is conducting, the voltage drop is 0. And when it is not conducting, it is the source voltage. Just by applying KVL, we see that we will draw the VT, voltage across the thyristor. Is it okay? So when the first half cycle start conducting, voltage across the load is V0. Current flowing through this circuit, TRL source. Energy gets stored here. So during that period, current will rise. L dI/dt is positive. Voltage induced here is positive, and this is negative. But when start, in the negative half cycle, the current still flowing in this direction because the energy stored in the inductor has to be released. Now the current falls because all the energy stored in the inductor is dissipated in the circuit resistance. The current fall. So polarity of voltage is negative, positive. So this voltage drives the thyristor for some time till the current falls to 0. And during that period, negative voltage will appear. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So the derivation, conduction angle is beta minus alpha. This is where the current fall is beta. Okay. And this is alpha. So beta minus alpha is conduction angle. During this period, the thyristor conduct. This is beta. Oh, beta is given here. And this is alpha. So, so when the thyristor is on, the voltage equation is Vm sin omega t R I naught plus L dI/dt instantaneous voltage. So this is a first order differential equation. You must be very good in mathematics. The load current consists of two components, a steady state component and a transient component. Okay. The transient component is given by IS. The first this one of these partial equation that first order differential equation will give two components. That forget that two terms are called. Here it is, we are calling it steady state part and a transient part. Steady state part is Vm by Z dot sine omega t minus phi. Phi is tan inverse x by r. X is equal to omega L. Phi is the angle by which RMS current IS lags PS. That I told you, phase control rectifier. Alpha, if alpha change, very alpha, phi will change. So we call it phase control rectifier. So this solution of this will give you two parts, a steady state part and a transient part. Transient part is obtained from the force-free equation. Okay, so it is ITA e to the minus R by LT, right? So total solution is IS plus IT, Vm by Z sin omega t minus phi plus. So at initial condition, we will apply initial condition, right? What I have given here. At alpha is equal to 0. Oh, sorry. From initial condition, here at alpha is 0 here, not 0. alpha is equal to some angle. The current is 0. So putting this at omega t is equal to alpha, I naught is equal to 0. Huh? Here it is. Omega t is equal to alpha, I naught is equal to 0. So we put it here, omega t is equal to alpha, and this becomes A, t is 0. So we'll get A is equal to minus Vm by Z sine alpha minus phi e to the power r alpha by omega L. Solution becomes I naught is equal to this. This put it here. Put the value of A here. From the initial condition, find A. See the initial condition. And so the instantaneous value of current is this. Okay. So the differential equation has two components, a steady state component and a transient component. The complete solution, instantaneous current is steady state component plus the transient component. Okay. A is found from the initial condition. Put the value of A here, and it complete solution. This equation can be solved by Newton-Raphson, I think. At omega t is equal to beta also, I naught is equal to 0. So that very difficult to, there is no easy way of solving this. A numerical method can be applied here. Okay, that we will not study. It's okay. So average voltage is 1 by 2 pi alpha to beta. It's not alpha to pi, because the current is flowing little bit more ahead of pi because of the inductive load. Alpha to pi, Vm sine omega t d omega t. So okay, A by 2 pi cos alpha minus cos beta. Average load current is V naught by I naught. Average RMS load voltage is this. Okay. Got it? Waveform must be correct in the exam. Okay. You must draw the waveform very correctly. Otherwise, 0. Everything we are deriving from the waveform. So now one more circuit is there. RL load, but a freewheeling diode. Freewheeling diode. Okay. We know that the diode has a very less Farad resistance, very less, magnitude of that Farad resistance is very small. So what happens in the first cycle? Okay, this is forward bias. Forward bias thyristor provide very it provide a conducting path, and this is reverse bias. This is because this is positive, this is negative. Anode cathode. Okay, so this is reverse bias, not conducting. Okay, current is flowing like this. T, R, L, Vs. Energy gets stored here. Now, in the second half after pi, what happens? This is get forward bias. Okay, this polarity changes. Initially, it is positive, negative. After pi, it is positive and it is negative, right? So this is reverse bias. That means this path is providing a very high resistance, very high resistance. Whereas this path is providing a very small resistance. So almost all current will flow through the forward diode, and this will turn off. Current is 0 here. So all the current will shift to. That is why it is a freewheeling diode, freewheeling path. It is providing a freewheeling path for the stored energy in the inductor to be released and dissipated in the circuit resistance. So when the diode is conducting here to here, is the load voltage, right? We have assumed that switches are ideal, so voltage drop is 0. So this is provide almost a short circuit. During freewheeling period, the voltage, load voltage is 0. Okay, but current will start falling. Just read out what I have written. Okay. If there is a two resistances, one is of 1000 ohm and one is of 1 ohm, so then most of the current will flow through 1 ohm resistance. That is a simple funda, right? And it is reverse bias, it provides very high resistance. Also, the polarity of the source voltage has changed, so current has to flow against the source voltage. So almost all the current will flow through diode. Switch off. This becomes off. And now the voltage across the load is 0. This is the waveform. We'll assume that the load current is continuous. If this inductor is very, very large, as I told you, time constant of the circuit is L by R is very large, or as you can say, amount of energy stored here is very large. So that will take a lot of time to dissipate. So load current remains almost continuous. Okay. Like this. This is the thyristor current. Start to peak, then 0. When the freewheeling diode start conducting at pi, here at pi, thyristor turn off automatically. These are all simulation result. This is the freewheeling diode current. When thyristor stop conducting, the load current flow through the freewheeling diode. Note down the waveform.
Sir, what is the significance of freewheeling diode?
We'll come to that. So, what difference you are getting here? Negative voltage is appearing? No. No. So, average voltage has improved, right? Because there is no negative voltage, right?
We notice.
Plus the load current waveform have improved because of the freewheeling diode. Because now the current is flowing through a low resistance path. Voltage drop is very less. So circuit become efficient. And so when current was flowing against the source voltage and through a very high resistive path, it was dropping very quickly. But here it is a freewheeling path, so current takes some more time to fall, and therefore current waveform improves. So performance of the motor will improve. That because the torque is directly, or I forgot the formula, must be directly or proportional to current as square of the current, right? So torque will be better, motor torque will be better. So motor performance will, overall performance will improve. Plus don't forget the input power factor. In power electronics converter, we give emphasis on input power factor, not the load side. Here what happens, power delivered to the load. What is the definition of input power factor? power delivered to the load divided by input volt ampere, right? In RL load without freewheeling diode, there is a negative voltage. So power consumed by the load is decreased, but here it is improved. So input power factor also is better here. Okay. So finally it is summarized. Input power factor is improved, load current waveform is improved. As a result, load performance is better, average voltage is improved. Okay. Main feature of FD. You can write down these things.
Sir, we are aiming to get a constant current, I know.
Well and good. If we get, it is good. That actually it requires a infinitely large inductance, right? Very large inductance, so that the current will remain flat. But this is practically not possible. In some problem, they are telling assume that load current is continuous and ripple free. You will assume that. Practically, implementing a very infinitely large inductance is not possible. But inductance are very big in size. 1 millihenry will be very big. 10 millihenry means you just cannot imagine. It will be very bulky. Okay, but it smoothen the current ripples, current performance, current waveform will be better. That will improve the performance of the load. And freewheeling diode is providing all kind of advantages. Input power factor will improve. Why it is explained here? Just during the negative part of the voltage into current is negative, right? That is the dissipation, means not absorbed, but power is fed back to the source, not absorbed by the load during that period. So, but with freewheeling diode, there is no negative power, right? So power consumed by the load or delivered to the load is more with freewheeling diode. So power factor will improve. Anything else? Mathematics are there, that you will do, huh? Saying this first order differential equation would have two parts, a steady state part and a transient part. From the initial condition, omega t is equal to 1. It is not 0 here. I naught is equal to I naught. And so t is equal to this. If you put it here, A will get A. Simple. Mathematics must be very good. In the mode 2, there are two modes here, pi 2 to pi plus alpha. Let's see, it will form pi to 2 pi plus alpha is another mode. Okay. Current is flowing. Na? Pi to 2 pi plus alpha is another mode. Alpha to pi is one mode. Okay. So here you can see initial current is I naught. Here it is I naught 1. The second mode initial current is I naught at omega t at omega t is equal to pi. Something is missing. Omega t is missing here. At omega t is equal to pi at a pi. Okay. I0 is equal to I0 1. So A is equal to this. Okay. Here the average voltage is, there is no negative part. So it is alpha to pi Vm sin omega t d omega t. Vm by 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha. Average load current is V0 by R. Okay, then. In PPT, we are moving very fast. Three circuit. You make notes of this half-wave rectifier, resistive load, RL load, and RL load with a freewheeling diode. Three condition. Okay. Derive the equation. Write the, very briefly write the operation. Mode 1, mode 2, and come back with some question in the next class. Okay. Any more class? Any more question?